Hi, I'm Reverend Vieira from Scholar Skills. Let me show you another skill that you will need to truly succeed. What do your children need to know in order to succeed? Language standards are crucial. Language is crucial. And I'm going to focus again on these next generation standards by looking at what's called the conventions of academic English and language for learning. May I say again, New York State did not invent this. Every educated citizen of any country, anywhere where the written text is supreme, has to be able to do this. Now, we're talking about English, but take a look at what is demanded of a child. Look at Standard 1. To demonstrate command of the conventions of academic English grammar and usage when writing or speaking. Let me highlight that for you so that you understand exactly what I mean. Okay, we're going to underline this for you. They need to have a command of the conventions of academic English grammar and usage, both when writing or speaking. In other words, your children need to be articulate and they need to be accurate. They need to write with clarity and to speak with eloquence. And in order to do so, which, by the way, is every parent's dream, right? You want your kids to stand up and be counted and express themselves in such a way that the world looks at them and says, ah, there goes a brilliant child, a brilliant young person, a well-spoken person. We are judged by how we look, what we wear, but even more supremely, how we speak and what we write. And every parent's desire should be for that their children's native intelligence should be spoken about, or I should say manifested, through the way they write and how they speak. And in order to do so, your children must have a command of what we call the conventions of academic English grammar. Ah, there's that word again. Grammar, 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 grammar. Yes, I know it's old-fashioned in some schools that are quote-unquote more progressive, but hey, grammar is the study of the language about language. Grammar is the study of language about language. Grammar is the language of language. It helps your children to understand what speech is, what are the 8 parts of speech and how they work together to create the music of writing and the music of speech. How do writers use these tools to convey their ideas coherently? If your children don't understand the tools that writers use, if they don't understand grammar or syntax or word order, if they don't understand how the 8 parts of speech can be organized to communicate effectively, then they will never be able to do so themselves. Look at Standard 2. Not only the conventions of grammar and usage, but also the conventions of academic, and I love this, okay, academic English capitalization, punctuation, and spelling when writing. Look, it matters that they spell correctly. It matters that they know where a period goes, or what a semicolon does, or what a colon does, and how it affects the flow of thought when they write. It matters. There was a time, and maybe still so, when people would say, educators would say, and I call them so-called educators, oh, let them just write and they'll fix it afterwards. How can you write when you don't understand that the flow of thought is communicated through punctuation? And who wants to read things that are misspelled and broken? No, this is important. It is always important, and it's still important, and it will always be important. Finally, let's take a look at Standard 4, vocabulary acquisition and use. What is that? Well, it means that the kids know words. Your children need a rich vocabulary. They need to understand multiple words and the multiple ways in which those words can be used, you see? So words have contexts and meaning. I can say, water the grass, water my heart, water my mind. I can say, feed my soul, feed the child. Those little words in different contexts mean many different things, you see? So determining or clarifying the meaning of unknown and multiple meaning words And phrases, see, phrases, not just words, but groups of words called phrases. I love this word here, phrases. Phrases. And using context clues, analyzing, there's the word again, meaningful word parts, and consulting general references such as dictionaries. But let me focus on this. Analyzing meaningful word parts. So much has been said about context clues. And I get that. That simply means looking at the sentence and trying to understand what a word or a group of words means by its relationship to other words. But that has limited value. What is really important is for your children to be able to analyze meaningful word parts. What are the parts that create that word? In other words, if the word is attract, for example, how does the word attract get its meaning? Well, the word attract gets its meaning from two word parts, at, which means towards, and tract, tract, which means to pull. So if I'm attracted to you, I'm being pulled towards you. Knowing word parts will help your children to explode their vocabulary because it gives them a tool for vocabulary acquisition. We'll talk more about how to help your kids to learn words fast and effectively. And it's not about memorizing lists of words, but it's about understanding how to analyze the meaningful word parts.